Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMtrading. Today's December 16, 2020, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, Joe Biden is confirmed president of the United States. Woohoo, finally. Okay, this is confirmed. This is done. The markets rally as a reaction. But first, looking at the economic events of the day, we've got a bunch of events coming out today. Okay, starting at 10:15 South African time. Out of the European Union, we've got a French flash services PMI number coming out. And then at 10:30 South African time from Germany, both services and manufacturing PMI numbers coming out. And then across the Atlantic Ocean coming out of the United States, starting out at 3:30 South African time, core retail sales number coming out. And then at 4:45, we have a flash manufacturing PMI number coming out for the United States. And lastly, okay, and most importantly, Federal Reserve will have an interest rate decision tonight at 9 p.m. South African time. That is probably the most important number of the day and probably for the balance of the year as we go into Christmas vacation next week. Now, taking a look at the markets, okay, the dollar continues to slide. And this time it's versus the South African rand and the British pound, like gain versus the dollar. The euro is pretty much in a choppy place. We're going to take a look at it. In terms of the indices, the Dow Jones bounced yesterday, okay, after dipping below 29,900-ish level, and the Nasdaq rallies, okay. It was quiet, but it did perk up, really because of one stock. We're going to take a look at that. Now, in terms of commodities, gold breaks out higher, okay, actually breaking that resistance-ish level. And looking at the stocks, Apple pops up over 5% move yesterday. That is big for Apple. We're going to take a look at that as well. And lastly, looking at the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin still teasing us at that top of the range. And we're going to take a look at that a little bit more sharply today to see maybe we'll get a breakout. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to first take a look at the Euro USD. You can see pretty much this is really choppy trading. I mean, we're in a 10 to 20 pip range over the past couple of days. On the outer extremes, we're in about a 50 pip range. Okay, so nothing really jumping at me from the euro. But as we look at the Gbp Usd, and this is on a weekly chart, okay, and this is really important because it does look like it's hugging this 135 resistance. And if it does break it, then guess what? We could get back to this 140-ish level even, okay? This is a bona fide correction for both the British pound and the dollar, as one continues to look stronger and the latter, the dollar, looking weaker. And it's just not looking weaker against the British pound because of Brexit, but it's looking weaker against the British pound just systemically against everything. Now, looking at the Aussie dollar, it's still relatively strong versus the USD, rallying to that 75.70. If we look at the rand, and this is really important, you guys know I've been watching this like a hawk, finally breaking down on this lower level, 1487, and we're trading at 1488 this morning. The next real support system next real support level for the price of the rand is probably somewhere in the 1450, 14-ish level. Okay, somewhere between that range is where then we'll have support. So I do anticipate this will continue selling off quite sharply. Unbelievable move. Now, looking at gold, look at that. We broke above that 1847. And once we broke above it, that's it. Okay, that's called a bona fide breakout. Okay, 1855 and where we're trading, and not a major breakout, but a breakout nonetheless. Okay, we have been in this range for quite some time, even dipping to 1700 over the last month. If you guys remember that, towards the end of the month, we dipped to 1760-ish level. Tremendous buying opportunity if you look at it from here. Now, this really needs to challenge this 1874, and I believe it will as we get closer to the end of the year. Now, jumping into the Nasdaq, look at this. Look how strong it was. It was giving us a very difficult time the previous day. Okay, today's Wednesday, so it was giving us a very difficult time on Monday, okay, where we couldn't break out higher, we couldn't break out lower, we're just trading in a very tight range. And then finally breaking out 12,600-ish level to our all-time highs. Okay, that really is important because if we look at a weekly, we're at all-time highs all time. Okay, so looking at that, what is really driving this? It's Apple. Okay, we're going to take a look at that in just a second, but looking at the Dow Jones back to the 257-ish level, looking like it wants it to go higher. Okay, maybe because of this positive news that Biden is coming back into the presidency adding a little bit of stability perhaps, okay, to the social unrest in the United States. So that is something to consider as this is going to unfold today. Now looking at Apple, look at that. We gapped up from 120 up to 122, and this thing just gapped and go. You could see that so clearly to 125.81. I do expect a continued upwards momentum here. So keep an eye on this later today as the markets open in the United States. Now, it wasn't followed across the board. Like if we look at Facebook, it rallied somewhat, but still on a weakerish level. Microsoft didn't do much. Okay, if we look at Amazon, also didn't do much yesterday either. So it's not systemic. It is market driven by a particular stock. So that may carry the market higher. Okay. These sluggish stocks may play catch up at a certain point. So it's something to look at as well. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, this is really teasing us at this 353 level. Look at that. Okay. What I'd like to say, okay, and this may add a little bit of lack of objectivity here. Okay, we are really going into the end of the year, and generally there are rallies into the end of the year. So I'd be really looking to see if this breaks that 500-ish level, 572, and if it does, then we're going to go even higher. So something to consider going into today, okay, as the markets take in all this information. Now remember, it is a major news day. So with that said, I do expect some quiet period right before the major news comes event, especially in the afternoon. In the morning, I do expect some volatility after the major numbers coming out from Europe. Okay, so just digest the information and then you'll be able to understand how to trade it, because you got to know the levels, okay? Because these type of trading scenarios may present several kind of strategies, which we've talked about: fade opportunities, some momentum trading, some scalping, okay, in these type of environments. So just be aware of that, but make sure to put stop limits, okay? That's really an important element of your trading. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.